We are going to start talking about positive and negative numbers. You have probably had a lot of experience with positive numbers all the way through fifth grade. You've probably heard the word negative, maybe have an idea of what it means. We're going to start digging into that deeper and using some of them this year. So first of all, a negative number is a number that is less than 0. So it is smaller than 0. And it's going to use the symbol, it looks like a minus sign, is when we are taking away, right? We're getting smaller. Negatives are smaller. They're going to that left direction. And positive numbers are greater than 0. They are numbers that are bigger than 0. And we use that plus sign because we're getting bigger. We're adding on to what we already have. Okay, so make sure you have filled out your vocabulary words and your key ideas there. So number lines can actually go in two different directions. The first one is horizontal. That's one we're probably pretty familiar with. We've seen number lines that go across. So a horizon is where the sky and the land meet. They make that straight line across. So a horizontal number line always has the positives on the right and the negatives on the left. Every single time, positives and negatives. They have to be in those because otherwise, if you just start flipping them, then we'll never know which one is supposed to be which. So positives are always on the right, negatives are always on the left. So that's a very big key idea we want to remember as we are creating number lines, right? So when we're adding on, we're getting to the right. And when we're subtracting numbers, we're going to the left. So we're adding on, we're taking away. Same signs, just maybe an added additional meaning to what those signs mean. So the other direction a number line can go is vertical. If you jump up, people will measure like your vertical jump, how high you can jump up, or the height of you, right? Goes up and down. So a vertical number line goes up and down. The positive is always up, right? It's going up and getting bigger. And when it goes down, it's getting smaller. So up and down every single time, those vertical number lines have to have positive on top and negative on bottom. A way you can help remember this is a thermometer. So when I have a thermometer, right, the temperature goes up, 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 it gets hotter. Or if it drops down, that means it's getting colder. You can see here's 0, right? We can go into the negatives. It gets in the negatives here in Utah and it gets colder and hotter. So make sure you have those examples of vertical number lines here in your example box. Okay, so our next word is integers. When we are talking about positive and negative numbers together, we call those integers. So we have positives, we have negatives, and we're just saying those together. All the positives and negatives, we call them integers. Integers are positive and negative whole numbers, though. They have to be They have to be whole numbers, counting numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20, 50, 70, 100, right? They're whole numbers, no decimals, no fractions. They're nice and easy. And then they can also be negatives, -1, -2, -300, -1,000, but they're whole numbers, no decimals, no fractions. And now opposites, right? We can think of, if I have up, I can go down. Left, right, big, little. Opposites, positive, negative. Those are two opposites as well. So here are some opposites. -3, well, there's -3, -3, and 3. Those are opposites. So we definitely want an example of an opposite. But what is an opposite in math? They're the same distance from 0. They both went 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, but they're on opposite sides like the name says. So if I have 10, the opposite is -10. If I have -42, the opposite is +42. So make sure you have definitions and examples where they need to go for those words. Okay, and last, we don't always just use the words positive and negative. Sometimes you might hear different words that mean the same thing. If you were playing a game, like a card game, you can get points, you can have points taken away, go into the positives and negatives. If you're playing football, you can gain yards, but if your quarterback gets sacked, maybe you're going into the negatives, you're going to lose those yards. So when we are playing games, We can gain yards, we can lose yards. We can gain points, we can lose points. So positives and negatives. So money is another time we use words that aren't always positive and negative. If you go to the bank and you put money in your account, we call that a deposit. I'm depositing money into my account. I'm adding on to it. But if I already have money in the bank and I go take it out, we call that a withdraw. And if I take out too much, I can go into the negatives. That's not good. We don't want that. Okay, so I can deposit money and add more. I can take it out and subtract that and withdraw it. Another type of positive and negative example is elevation. So elevation is you have your ocean. You can go down into the ocean. You can go climb up a mountain, right? You're not just always at one level. We can go up and down according to where the ocean is. So if you are going up, you are going above sea level. And if you're going down, you are going below sea level. Okay, so up and down, below and above. And last, just a very generic word you might hear is when we're talking about numbers, if things are going up, they are increasing. And if things are going down, they are decreasing. So make sure you have all of those words listed in your key ideas so you can help remember those. And last of all, finish and write or draw yourself a note of something about positive and negatives that you think you are going to need to remember.